Okay, everyone, we're getting started, so if you could grab a seat, that would be great. Everybody, we're starting, so please grab a seat. Everybody, please grab a seat. We're starting.
Hey everybody.
Hi everyone. Please get seated. We need to start. Hi everyone. If you could grab a seat.
Hey everybody, we're excited to have you for AI Startup Pitch Night. I'm Dev Chandra from Startup Intros and Context.
Hi, and I'm Toku from Qlay Technologies.
And unfortunately, we couldn't pick everybody, but we've got some amazing AI startups queued up. So we'll get into it. And we're going to introduce Qlay to start.
Hi, so I'm one of the co-founders of Qlay, and we are an AI automated engineer hiring platform. We use AI to source and screen candidates from all over the world, and we place the top candidates in startups here. And these are the founders. My co-founder, Tom, unfortunately he's on a business trip to Japan right now, but he's an ex-McKinsey guy, and I'm the technical guy on the right. And yeah, so basically the problem we're trying to solve is that right now, like technical, like CTOs, technical founders, engineering managers spend a lot of time screening through various mini CVs and interviewing many candidates. And this is like precious time that they should be spending on building their product. So basically, we automate that process using AI, and we just provide like a short list of candidates so that they just have to interview a few people and then find the right person. So we basically do that through AI, and so we usually like work in this office. We're based here, and we host a lot of events every month. These are a couple of events that are coming up soon. On May 28th, we have this is more, I guess, focused on like AI and technical talks, but it's an event with the co-founder of Encore and a senior director of software engineering at Anywhere Real Estate. And then on June 10th, we have like a more VC and funding focused event. We have Peter Walker, who's the head of insights at Carta, and we also have Millie Wang, who's the vice president at 65 Equity Partners. And this is a special promotion that we have for the attendees of this event. So basically, if you book a demo, book a call within the next 48 hours, we will offer you 400 free engineering hours. So this is the QR code to scan. But I guess if you miss this QR code, our website is Qlay.ai. This is Qlay with a Q. We often get confused with Qlay with a C, or Qlay with a Q. So it's Qlay.ai. So now I'm gonna hand it over to Dave.
Awesome. All right, so I'm also hosting. We got in a little late, but we're Startup Intros. I'm Dev Chandra. I'm the founder of Startup Intros, and we're an incubation from Context Ventures. So basically, we noticed that there's this really inefficient issue in the SF Bay Area market where it is really hard for early stage founders to find funding, and we're really trying to solve that efficiency issue. So we really want to help early stage founders find the right investors, and we're actually working on building a media and intelligence platform to connect you to the right investors. So if you're looking for funding, go to startupintros.com, and happy to help you out. And now I'm going to introduce our managing partner at Context, and his name is Tim. He is awesome. He's right here.
Hey, thanks Dev, thanks Qlay. I'll be really short. Context Ventures, we work out of this building, Digital Garage. If you're looking for a great co-working space, let Dev or myself know. We host a ton of events, so does Qlay. There's probably 1 or 2 events here we host a week. Last Thursday we had a Creator Career Conference. We have some upcoming events. One is November 6th, we're doing a Defense and Dual Use Conference. That's at the Marines Memorial Club. Defense and dual use is a big space, along with AI, that a lot of people are investing in, along with climate tech. Dev is a Navy veteran. We invest a lot in veterans. About 90% of our investments today have been in military veterans. That said, we jokingly like to say we invest in veterans, civilians, and aliens. That means anyone who can bring us great returns. We've done 37 investments out of the fund. Our typical check size is somewhere around 500K. We're pre-seed investors. We've done a number of investments in AI companies, hence this event. Every year we have a military veteran start conference. That's in February. That's at the Marines Memorial Club. You don't have to be a military veteran to attend that. We also host a LPGP event, Diverse VC. That's going to be on September. If you go to our event calendar page, you'll see many of these events. Next week we're hosting a VC event for Asian Americans just because it's Asian American Heritage Month. If you're looking for pre-seed funding, please talk to anyone at Context Ventures. Thank you, Deb. Thank you, Qlay, for setting this up.
All right, awesome. We're gonna have all the other amazing VCs and judges come up and introduce themselves one at a time.
Hi everyone, my name is Mariane Bekker. I'm the managing partner at Founders Bay. We do a few things. So we have a community of over 90,000 founders and VCs here in the Bay Area, and every month we do events to really connect you and give you the tools that you need to grow your startup, because we understand that being a founder is very lonely. We also host the Giga Party. Who here was at the Giga Party? Okay, all right, didn't hear about it. But on May 25th, this Friday, we have an event with the Chainsmokers, a VCLP Summit. So if you go to summit.foundersbay.com, you can attend. And another thing that we do is we're starting a fund to really fund the startup in our community. So if you want to be involved, subscribe to our newsletter, newsletter.foundersbay.com. Thank you.
Hi, good evening everyone. So my name is Alan and I work with UpScaleX and co-founder and partner at UpScaleX. So we are a seed fund based out in Colorado, and we specialize in intersect between AI applications and digital commerce. So if you're doing anything related to empowering the brand, the growth, marketing, sales, or just in general like helping them tap into the world of digital commerce in a better manner, come over and talk to us. So we invest mainly at the pre-seed stage, but also look a slightly later stage as well at the seed stage. Average check size is around 500,000, and super passionate with the sector we're focusing. So we have a whole ecosystem of founders who are willing to help out once you're in. So if you checked in at the front desk, you probably see this is a small souvenir made by one of our portfolio founders, portfolio companies. Feel free to grab it if you haven't got it.
Hello everyone, my name is Hyung. I'm partner at Z Venture Capital, which is corporate VC on the line, which is the #1 chat app in Japan and Southeast Asia, and also Yahoo Japan, surprisingly #1 search portal in Japan. And we do have grandparents, which is SoftBank and Naver. So Naver is another tech search platform based in Korea. So we have about mentioning 8 funds right now, and the recent one is about 300 million, focusing on AI deep tech. We are focusing on early stage pre-seed and seed in the US, and so we have a team in Japan, Korea, Southeast Asia, covering the Asian market. So we are looking forward to work closely with the founders in San Francisco. Thank you.
Hey everyone, I'm Bharat. I work at Mercor, which is a AI-powered labor marketplace. I do a lot of things there, from product to market operations. I've been able to see the company go from 4 people in a department to a $2 billion company doing over $100 million in run rate. Yeah, check us out if you're looking for part-time work. We have a bunch of cool opportunities. Thanks.
All right, we have some amazing sponsors. We're going to start with Plymouth.
Hi everyone. Thank you so much to Context and Qlay for having us. Plymouth Street is an immigration services company that helps technologists of all stripes get their O1 visa, the EB1, EB2, and NW green card pathways. We've supported over 300 O1 applicants so far with approvals. We have a 99% approval rating. And we work with amazing technology companies like Replit and Rippling and Cursor and Midjourney and Together AI and Hebia, and lots of technology companies that resemble what you all are building. We're thrilled to be offering a major discount for any immigration petition as a prize for any winners. So we'll offer a meaningful discount on any petition going forward. So Good luck and thank you so much.
Yep, and as you build your companies, anyone who needs international talent, we are very, very fast. Our turnaround time is extremely quick, and Caleb and I will be over here. My name's Georgia to talk about it after. So good luck.
Thank you so much.
And now we're going to have Tesla.
Hi everyone, my name is Aaron. I'm here on behalf of Tesla doing brand activation and outbound marketing. We're here to showcase some of our new full self-driving software capabilities, also giving away 48-hour demo drive vouchers to the winners of tonight's event. So if you're interested in trying out the new Model Y or Cybertruck, good luck tonight, and hopefully we can get you guys in the cars for 2 days.
All right. So we're going to get started with our pitches. So who here is excited to see our finalists? Woo! All right, so how it's going to work is everyone gets 5 minutes. We're going to be really strict on time. If you go past 5 minutes, your might get cut off. Maybe it doesn't. Also, just a quick thing about Tesla. I used the Tesla Cybertruck to move this weekend. So I took it out and I actually moved myself between my apartments. So great prizes. And then you get 5 minutes for questions. So we're going to get started with Qlay Labs.
Let's go. I'm David Spencer. I'm the founder of Qlay Labs, and our product is Core Helps. And we sell B2B, an assistant to help technicians that are fixing things in your house. And so this is probably not something that you're super familiar with here. This is a almost $100 billion market, not for the software, but for the services where people come out to your house, to your apartment, and fix something. And so most of them are small businesses. There's a huge number of small businesses, but there is a lot of PE consolidation happening in the industry. That number right there for 2022 is 6 times what the number of transactions were in 2018. And then as we see aging housing stock, we see smart homes and new technology and a push for efficiency, we're needing almost 50,000 new technicians on top of what we already have year over year for the next 4 to 5 years. And so this is creating a crippling shortage in the industry that is a big problem for the operators of these PE units. And so what you see is you'll have usually a MBA come out of Wharton or something, and they come in as an operator of 10 to $20 million of revenue. And about half of their income comes from, can they keep growth going with the same EBITDA margins, which need to be north of 20%. But the problem is that they aren't able to get the talent that they need to fix those problems. And so we're rolling trucks over and over again. And so when we roll a truck out to your house a second time, do you want to get charged a second time? Probably not. And so what we're seeing is that it takes 6 to 12 months for that new technician to be profitable and to not actually being a drag. And so our solution is to replace the lack of training that they have right now or winging it with the way that they're already asking questions, which is they're asking Google, they're asking their supervisor, they're getting on call with a distributor or a manufacturer sometimes and sitting on waiting 15 minutes, waiting 30 minutes to get these answers. Meanwhile, they're standing in your house not doing anything. They're not moving to the next job. That job that they're on right now might not even be revenue producing. And so by moving the learning curve forward, we can increase the ability to maintain profitability as we grow these businesses. And so one of our first customers is ES Solar. This is just from last week out in Utah, on the job site, training my engineers with an actual technician. And what it comes down to is reduced training time and actual real impact for the guys in the field. Also, this industry is 97% male, 70% white. There's a huge barrier to that learning process in some of these traditional industries, and we just aren't going to be able to maintain the labor force if we continue to lack that diversity. And so we think that this is like a fairly big opportunity. Right now, we're in just the early innings. We just barely are in revenue, and most of the sales are targeting those bigger accounts through founder-led, really sales-led growth. Most of the market is going to need to be served through self-serve, and then we need to integrate with big partners like ServiceTitan, which just went public last year. And so right now we're at 100K run rate ARR, and we think that by the end of the year we'll be well north of $1 million if we continue to hit, me and my full-time salesperson kind of hit our targets. And so this is an AI event, so you probably want to know, okay, so how are you doing this? Are you just making a RAG off of the documents? Well, anyone can do that. That's not really what's special. What's special about what we're doing is capturing that undocumented expertise that is in between the documents. It is the expertise. A master technician is not 30 years of reading. A master technician is 30 years of experience. And what we do is we bring the answers back into the knowledge graph to create tighter connections so that we can give better, richer answers. This is our team. It's mainly, I brought the engineers out of my last job at a nonprofit. And our river guides are some of our first customers, ES Solar, across 4 states, and then Apex. We are finishing out actually this round. We do have a little bit more space, but we're excited to be moving forward in the HVAC and home services space. Thank you.
Awesome. All right, we're gonna have questions now from our judges.
And one thing I'll say is that if you want to try out our product, you can add the contact right there.
I guess, how do you avoid falling into the trap where you're having, too many free users, not enough like paid users? Because I think another thing is these folks are probably reticent to spend on software and want to cost cut, especially the techs themselves. And so how do you avoid a situation where people are using the free model and getting a lot of value out of the product, but at the end of the day not translating to meaningful revenue?
Yeah, I think that the real thing is that what we've seen is that the real value add is when we're connected to the ERP kind of customer service software underneath. When we have that data to be able to give, that's half of what the questions are. And so that's only on paid accounts. So our self-serve kind of product lab shows the technicians that it's useful for them. And so, but as far as businesses saying, hey, you can just use the free version, there will obviously be a lot of that, especially on the small business side. But what we've seen is that the problems that people are trying to fix with process improvement are sticky.
Hi, this is Alan. So I have a lot of respect for what you're trying to build, but I try to understand if it is empowering those who are already in the labor market to do a job in a better manner, or is it to bring people that are not currently in the labor market to come in and take up the job more smoothly?
Yeah, so what we've seen, so our first big account is over 500 seats, but really about 200 technicians. What that breaks down to is that there's about 20% of the workforce that's really, really good. 80% of them are working for the weekend, and of that 80%, about half of them, so 40% of the overall workforce, is under a year. They're new. And so the use case is really that is twofold, is what you said. It's bringing up to speed the new workers, but then also making sure that we're getting first-time fixes for that 80% where they don't really remember, where they're not an expert across the different pieces of machinery and the different use cases that they are encountering in their job. So it really is both sides of the coin.
Mm-hmm. And what would be the the ideal user interface, for your, ICPs. I'm currently looking at this text-based interface. I guess that's what you have built currently. But what's your ultimate goal?
Sorry, so that what last part?
Yeah. What is your vision on having the right interface to empower these folks?
Yeah. So the origin story of this is basically where we came up with going over text messaging, which I probably didn't hit hard enough in the actual pitch itself. But if you look at what the actual behavior is, in this picture here, there is that phone on the hip. Everyone has the text messages, and it's interfaced into everything. That right now is the right use case for the people in the field, but for the buyer, the customer, the ICP, is that Wharton-trained former military guy, and that is still traditional kind of a web-based SaaS of being able to see what the impacts are, to be able to see what the reporting is, and more of those kind of traditional enterprise SaaS features. So we have really two tracks, two users, the buyer, and then also the user who needs that text-based interface.
Yeah, I would say, in this real working environment, it's actually the multimodal kind of a business setting, right? User setting. So, having more visualized guidance, would that just work better? Which line should I cut? Stuff like decisions like that.
So right now we don't do generative. We don't generate new images because of the problems with, I think, with we've done early experiments with that. The generative images don't work. But what we're doing is we're actually bringing in images from the manuals. We're bringing in images from the internal company's SOPs, and that seems to be working. But I think you're right that you do need to have some kind of visual piece. But once again, it's over text message, so it is rich messaging.
Let's give it up for David. All right. Watch out. Oh, yeah, the stage just had a little malfunction. Let's make sure we fix that. All right, next we have Bot Gauge coming up. So you're going to get 5 minutes. Your time will start as soon as...
Hi all, I'm Pradeep, co-founder of BotGauge. So in simple, what we do is we have built an AI QA agent for web-based application where we help SaaS company to ship their application faster and remove the testing being a bottleneck for them. So coming to the problem statement, very age-old problem statement if you see here. Before 10 years, the release was happening once in 6 months. Now everything has happened, coming along in once in an hour, once in a minute, once in 5 minutes. So the test automation is becoming more prominent here. So testing has become expensive, time consuming, and require a technical resource to do end-to-end test automation. So what we have built here, we'll be able to create end-to-end functional UI, DB, API testing, that is before the production, once we start doing end-to-end testing, right? So that's the area which we are focused on, where we'll do a bulk creation from UX screenshot, PRT, or even videos. That's what we do. But however, now everyone will be thinking, every week you'll be seeing a QA company born. Not only in my space, you'll be able to see it in all the space. Everyone is overusing the word AI, LLMs. So that is one thing which everyone is trying to figure out. Even the customers, right, when they start evaluating, they are able to they're just looking into it. So what I'm going to answer is how we are different from others. from the existing players and the upcoming players. Why we are going to survey the 5 years, so 5 years a lot of change is going to happen, and why you should pick us for the winning team, right? So why we are capable of building this QA agent and winning over the market. So coming to the first question. So let's see the data. In 7 months of launch, we are able to get 14 plus customers. That is right now is 16 today. Also we signed a contract. 16 customers right now. And the interesting point is that 90% of the customers has either come from the existing low-code players or evaluate just one, that is the existing players or the YC back players that we evaluated and we are able to win over them. So now, why? Why we are able to win over them, right? Let's see. First thing with the existing players like Sigma, Qlay, Tosca, the age-old players, consider that they're always using locators. It's a little technical, but I can explain you. Consider that you want to find Tim and then trying to deliver a message. So consider this is the entire UI of your website. Now what players do, the existing players, they'll say that, okay, Tim is sitting in the chair 1, always deliver the message to the chair 1. What if things are moving in the back? Then the same message gets delivered in the chair 1 itself. Then it's not a bug, it's a false positive. That means they're not identifying the bug, the script is failing. Now what the NLU which we have built, the natural language understanding is like, wherever the team is there in this hall, we'll figure out and find him and deliver the message without using LLM models. Because they are not overusing the technology there. So because hallucination comes into play, testing is always 0 to 1 game. So where we use LLM is to find the context, bring up a larger bulk of creation and convert that into an in-house algo that is NLU which we have built over the time. That is for the existing players. The upcoming players, instead of being a wrapper on top of LLMs, we have built the core algo as I mentioned, and on top of that, we are getting more context and then performing the test case creation. So differentiation graph, you can see it here. Now, why we are going to exist for the next 5-10 years? The first thing is like, the data is going to be the mode for us. So consider that you are adopting us as your application or the testing partner. Once you adopt us, we have the entire knowledge of your application, both positive, negative, all the flows which you can expect, because we have to test the application end to end. That is functional. And that happening in the most contextual format possible. And once we enter into the vendor or the customer, what is going to happen is like, we analyze the entire application and that gets translated into other departments as well. For example, customer is asking a question. What's this product about or what's the flow? We'll be able to answer then and there. So currently what is happening, you have to go to a particular person. So in every company you will find a genius where they know the end-to-end application flow. They'll be working for a 1 year, 2 year, and every QA, everyone goes back to them and asks, okay, what's this particular flow? The customer is asking what's the new release happening. The entire hectic of the flow is taken out and we'll take care of it. That can be translated to customer success, sales, everyone. Now this is a market opportunity, more than 30 billion. Now let's jump into the team. So we are a team of 4 co-founders with different skill set. I'm a product person. Vivek Nagar, my co-founder, is also here. He is into growth. He has been in Wattfix, Sauce Flag, Lambda Test, so he has 16 years of GTM experience. And when it comes to Sripad, he's an implementation expert who has, you can see the founders here.
What kind of testing do you do? Do you do integration testing, functional testing?
Yeah, we are more focused on the functional part of it, that is before it gets released into production. So we mimic the test case user actions one by one, and we figure out which flow has failed so that the business is not getting affected. You know, the users are not patient anymore. Like once they see there is a bug, they move on to the competitor. So we make sure that their application is working as per expectation, and that's where the users get the benefit out of it.
Who guides the AI agent on what use cases to try out? Does it figure it out on itself, or does somebody have to tell it?
Just we have developed in the human psychology. Consider that a new person is joining your team. What's the first thing? First, a creative session will be given, right? Likewise, consider instead of a human, there's a AQ agent. First you give the context, we build a test case on top of the context, then you validate the context. From there, we'll be able to figure out n number of test cases from one flow. Likewise, we keep increasing the knowledge base and then we'll figure out. So it's like an adaptive QA intelligence platform.
Thank you.
Who do you sell into, and what's your pricing right now? Because on your slides it was like 10,000 a year, but by my count, you're roughly pricing it around like 3,500 a year now.
So currently we cater to two segments. So we are 7 months old, like we just launched 7 months back. So two ICPs we are catering to. One is enterprise. So we have onboarded 3 enterprises. Another one is growth stage startup, where a developer, only they have developers, they don't have a QA team. Now they're figuring out how they can increase their release cycles faster. So in that performance, 2 decisions they need to take. Should I hire a QA, or should I just try to make sure the developer does it? And even if developers are there in the house, you know that testing is boring for them, they want to do more critical tasks. So then we come in. For the growth stage startup, we'll take care of the entire thing. You need not worry about anything. The testing is ours, you focus on development and release. Enterprise customer, again the dilemma, everyone has to release it faster. Now they have 10 technical resources. So in one of our customers, what happened was like, they were planning to have 5 more technical resources, then we came in. Already they had 10-member team, Selenium testers. After we came in, they were able to reallocate that 10 technical resources with 3 manual testers and use our platform. Like before, they were able to support only 4 weeks of release cycle. Now they are able to support in 2 weeks of release cycles with 3 manual testers and with our platform.
In the future, if you have a slide, I think it'd be really helpful to show how your agent performs against their typical QA.
Yeah, definitely. I wanted to show that, but yeah, fine.
Cool. I think that's it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Awesome. All right, we're gonna have Tim from Atrove come on next. Come on down. Good to go.
I remember a time not so long ago at Apple when I was working on shipping the next iPhone. We got called into a midnight war room. There was a bill blocker, and my team had to stay up late, figure out exactly what was wrong, and luckily, by morning, we were able to do so. A lot of lessons learned, trying to figure out exactly what happened. Great, we recorded those, we were able to ship the phone on time. Everyone was happy. You think we'd be out of the woods, right? A few months later, we were shipping an iPad. Go figure, they've got a few more products that are similar, and our team got pulled into a very similar meeting with the same problem. And unfortunately, we weren't able to actually quickly identify what the root cause was. We had decision amnesia. It's a problem that happens with teams, right? You get a lot of information, those lessons learned, postmortems get buried in old documents in an email, and you can't quickly identify what you need to know when you need to know it. My name is Tim Onzuris, founder and CEO of Trove, and that's what we're trying to solve here. I'm sure a lot of you are familiar with when you're starting to scale teams, the amount of information that also scales. You begin to have silos of information, you begin to have knowledge loss, and it becomes a serious problem. You spend more and more of your time stuck in meetings, trying to find exactly what happened. You're not able to move quite as fast as you want to. Ironically, as you're trying to grow and speed up your team, you start to actually encounter more friction and slow down. And that's the growth paradox. How do we get around that? A Trove is an organizational intelligence layer that attempts to do that. We connect across your apps and identify key insights and information, and make sure they're able to be tagged and identified, so any conversation that happens in chat, decisions that happen in meetings, anything action item-wise in emails, all get brought together, tagged, and you have a single place, a single source of truth to actually view that. So instead of just me telling you about this, let me try and see if this demo works. Here we have a meeting, and before your meeting, you can actually get a quick rundown of all your communication to prepare you for that meeting so you can cut the status update time. It even gives you an agenda. This is acting all on live information. In addition to meetings, we want to help support teams. So, tired of those status update questions that you have to bug everybody for? You can quickly get the latest information from anybody on a team by just clicking your team and understanding exactly what's happening. You can even pull up individual users, and it's already been identified what they've done and what their history was. Fantastic. You don't no longer have to ping people asking for, hey, what was the latest on this thing? You automatically actually already have it from your channels connected on Slack, on Gmail, on Google Meet. So what we're trying to create here is a unified platform that is a single source of truth for your work communication. We have some early traction already. We've talked to a ton of different customers. A lot of people face this problem. More or less, yes, this is a valid pain point that people are suffering today. We've got right now a closed beta invite that we're testing with about 10 or so customers, and we're getting really good feedback, trying to really find that signal. What's the most important thing that people are valuing? They're already loving the software, saving a few hours a week, which is 5% of the work week. They can actually focus on truly what matters, and that's very important. It's got a massive potential for ROI here based on what we think a reasonable pricing would be. And this isn't just a slide deck, it's not just an idea. We have a live platform out there, and we'd love for you to try it out as well. So, right now we're looking for a $2 million pre-seed investment to continue product development and our go-to-market strategy. So, are there any early stage investors who want to get in on this organizational AI trend, one that's not just a thin wrap around ChatGPT, but something that we're actually building? Let me know, let's talk. We're also looking for design partners. These are companies that are scaling teams, anywhere between seed, Series A, Series B, where you're suddenly growing by 50% in the next few months. Let's talk. That's about it. All right, so instead of just getting lost in old chats and old emails, no more having to dig through Slack. Let's find that signal for all that noise.
Hey Tim, great presentation. How different or similar are you from Glean? Because I get a lot of Glean vibes.
Yeah, it's a good question. So here's a positioning slide and backup. I figured Glean gives you a lot of knowledge base pulling, but they don't necessarily proactively give you insights. We want to be more push oriented. And right now we're focusing on communication because that information changes very quickly. What happened last week may not be as relevant as what happened yesterday. And so we're trying to prepare you ahead of time, for your meetings and everything. Whereas Glean is a great knowledge base. It connects to stuff for long-term persistent storage, but I don't think it's quite as proactive in that regard. And it's not team-based.
So quick follow-up, sorry, is this is all really helpful for internal meetings and coordination and internal context.
Yes.
Have you thought about, this is radically different, context for external meetings?
Yeah, so part of the value here, I think, is both internal, where you're having your team members talk to each other, and I worked at Apple where we were dealing with Foxconn a lot, or Pegatron vendors. I think anybody dealing with external vendors, pinging 50 different people to get a status on something is terrible. This would work very well for that as well. So that, I think, is an interesting use case that works for them.
What's the typical integration process?
So what's the integration?
Yeah, integration to use for the companies
Sure. So we're trying to make it as easy as possible. I'm kind of an Apple, just make it work guy. So you log in, you can connect your Gmail, your Google Meet, your Teams, your Slack right away. In a matter of, 30 seconds or a minute, you can start to get insights and information. So it happens pretty fast. It pulls in a handful of messages, and then you can start getting value from it.
I like your pitch presentation. I think a lot of people just usually dive right into the pitch. Good job on creating narrative.
Thank you.
All right, next we're going to have Ecotone come up as soon as we get him logged in. Awesome.
Great, thank you guys. It's really wonderful to be here. I've got the deck, but founders, we love to have attention on this, so rather than use the deck, I'm just going to have you guys concentrate on me for the most part. Some of you guys may have read the New York Times article that came out a few days ago on this baby named KJ. KJ is a 9-month-old that has an error in his genetic code that results in a disease called CSP1. KJ can't get rid of ammonia from his body, and this results in ammonia buildup, which then leads to brain damage and then death. KJ is very special though. He's the first baby to have received a personalized gene editing CRISPR molecule. And thanks to that, KJ is now meeting his developmental milestones and is expected to be discharged from the hospital in a few weeks. So this is a really wonderful story about how CRISPR and gene editing could change people's lives. But it's newsworthy. I'm building my company Ecotone so that it's no longer newsworthy. Baby cages are no longer newsworthy. They're actually commonplace. So my name is Imalik. A neuroscientist. I've been pioneering AI for the use cases in medicine for some time. My first company is called Genetic Intelligence. Genetic Intelligence just recently formed a deal with Eli Lilly, the pharmaceutical company, to guide them in their next generation of AI designed medications, specifically for RNA. The deal is valued at about $409 million. And I forked from Genetic Intelligence to form Ecotone, which Ecotone is what I call a neural excavation company. Our goal is to build AI models that could read the human genome as a first language. Okay, so what do I mean by neural excavation? If you put into a video model a query such as, give me a moving car, a car that's driving, perhaps a Tesla, that model will spit out a video of a car that's moving, and of course that car should have wheels that are rotating. So that means that somewhere in the model there is a function for rotation. Right? And neural excavation is going inside of the model, inside of the latent space, and finding that function. Right? So we believe that within DNA space, there are functions and laws that govern how the genome operates. So we go in and build our own models from the ground up, and we go excavating for such functions towards this goal of building a model that could read the human genome as a first language. So why would we do this? Within the genome, 3 billion bases, or you could call them tokens, to align with the LLM space. Of these 3 billion, there's about 10,000 of these that are known to cause genetic diseases. So our goal is to build a model that could give you these 10,000 bases, so then you could use that information to design CRISPR medications at scale. So our goal isn't to cure 1 disease, 2 or 3 diseases. Our goal is to build a platform that is able to identify all of those 10,000 different bases, and thus allowing you to make CRISPRs for 10,000 different diseases. So this is the deliverable for us. We've been working hard at it. We just released our first model, the DNA Sora, a few months ago. We'll be releasing another one in 2 or 3 weeks in early June. Happy to share more about how those models are special. Right now, we're about to start raising our seed round. It's $16 million that we're raising, and we are looking for an anchor. So happy to get in touch and speak, grow our network, or see if we go into deeper conversations. Reach me at imalik@ecotone.ai.
How much have you raised today?
So our pre-seed round was $1 million. Angels, we finished that up last year.
How are you planning to use the $16 million?
Unfortunately, NVIDIA is going to get most of it. So we're building these pretty massive, pretty large models. We have our sites on hopefully getting a GB200, so 72 rack, fiber optically connected, and so forth. So it goes to compute and to team.
I feel like every time Jensen Huang talks about AI, he's talking about this, like using AI to discover drugs and DNA stuff. How competitive is the space?
It's very competitive, but it's also very esoteric. So within DNA companies, I call ourselves like the Fortran language. Nobody wants to hang out with us. Right? You have protein folding, and I'm sure everyone's familiar with AlphaFold. A lot of companies are operating in that space, but as you get deeper into the stack, from DNA to RNA, sorry, protein to RNA to DNA, it just becomes harder to be able to navigate the information space. But there's quite a few success stories. One that comes to mind right away is InstaDeep. They released a model called the nucleotide transformer. Very wonderful model, and it resulted in the acquisition for $700 million, I believe, last year. Is Isomorphic Labs, coming out of Google. There's quite a few of these.
Where can you get your data?
So we keep our data within our models. Again, we built all of our models from the ground up. We have a Kubernetes setup that makes us cloud agnostic, though Amazon is our favorite cloud. And we want to make sure that these genomes are not identifiable. So we take genomic information from national repositories. So for instance, the UK 100,000 Genomes Project and so forth. So they have got their own clearance as well, but we also have our own personal local clouds.
Have you seen the movie Gattaca?
Actually, I have not. I've heard a lot about it, though.
Okay, just here.
So how things would go wrong?
No, but it feels like you're helping us on that path to just like knowing the day you're born, what diseases you will have, and so on and so forth.
Absolutely, absolutely. We do see the next generation of medications that are coming out will be all DNA guided. And there's millions of baby cages out there. As a matter of fact, I believe there's about 800 million people in the world that have some sort of genetic disease, swinging from infants to adults. We're moving towards a space where they are actually addressed.
Last question for me is, there's companies like Function Health and I think like Super that like help you diagnose like specific medical use cases for yourself without knowing necessarily your DNA. Have you thought about like, partnerships with them?
So we actually we don't discuss partnerships much at this stage of the company's life cycle from experience. I call these like third horizon versus first horizon problems. So third horizon problems are people who can partnership with, different ways we could use our technology. We right now I speak with Johnson & Johnson as well as Biogen, but we don't really talk much about that, just build a relationship. Our first horizon problem is who can we build the best DNA reading AI model out there? So the entire team, including myself, are fully focused on that.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We have one more presenter. We're just ironing out some technical issues. All right, actually, we have two more presenters. Let me get this one up. Here we go. We got.
Real quick while we're waiting, who here is a pre-seed founder? Can you raise your hand? Pre-seed founder. Raise it even higher. All right, who amongst you pre-seed founders is raising capital right now? Keep it up. Okay. Cool. I'll stick around a little bit if you all want to chat. And then who's raising seed funding right now? Okay, so folks who have, I guess, raised pre-seed. Cool. Back to you all.
Good evening. NeuroCreate's vision is to enhance your mind to be healthy via creativity and to be productive. But for 80% of the US workforce, they suffer from workload-related stress and productivity anxiety. And not only does this cost $300 billion in productivity, but also health costs. And stress has been shown to contribute to cognitive decline and a plethora of mental health problems. So it's a vicious cycle, really doesn't let you actually get your work done either. So our solution is comprehensive, and what we are doing is we are training our users to achieve a mental state called flow, which is beneficial to cognitive performance, mood, and attention. This leads to increased stress resilience, a mood uplift, increased cognitive flexibility and creativity, and people get a higher sense of joy, enjoyment, intrinsic motivation, and engagement. And who am I? Why am I telling you all of this? Well, I'm a neuroscientist as well. And I found a signature brain pattern for flow states in my research looking at the neuroscience of creativity and innovation. I'm also a senior lecturer in neurodesign, and I've been an AI and human collaborative systems scientist and designer for other startups. I'm the founder of NeuroCreate. And we are building a Flow Create platform which can train and maintain your flow in different sensory modes and workflows. So you log in and our Flow AI agent would ask you, how would you like to get into your flow today? And you can choose and pick in a modular and stackable way our different flow digiceuticals so that we can enhance your health through workflow tools. So here we have 3 that we're building, and our beachhead one is the Innovator tool, which is a cognitive AI for augmented collaborative intelligence. So Flow is enabled by AI by guiding our users through the different creative neural mechanisms. So what you see on the left here is your brain biomarker when you're really, really focusing and researching. So we're utilizing AI to help you do that. What you see next is actually your brain incubating, trying to find all of those sort of connections that are not very obvious. So it's actually what happens when you're mind wandering, and that's your default mode network. And this is where our AI essentially analyzes in a data-driven way to surface different patterns and helping you to do design thinking. And here you have your aha moment, and this is where AI comes together to help synthesize and generate and help you collaborate to have outputs. And through all of this, we have essentially created a human and AI interactive thinking framework to help you get into the flow states, and embedding this into an end-to-end service as a software innovation and project management platform, where we have created proprietary knowledge graphs to be expert and domain specific, and this is all embedded in a visual way so people can be collaborative. Looks a little bit like a mind map, and all the way towards exporting all of your ideas into a collated pitch deck. And the kinds of spaces that this is useful for is collaboration within R&D, creative strategy, and design thinking. And this has already had traction with our design partners across 13 by now, enterprise and SME paid recurring subscriptions. Even though they're design partners, they paid us, even though we're in our pre-launch pilot phase. And we've also had recurring paid partnerships with universities and also within innovation workshops. And you can see a few of the names up here. And our sort of second co-pilot that we've been building is Zeitgeist, which is the ability to visualize AI in real time. We've been building proprietary models that can be compatible with any wearable that you happen to have in your home already, and we're creating this ecosystem, this IoT of wearables. And so we can map this visually in real time, collaboratively, so that the more in flow you are, you can see your favorite color glowing more. And we've had some pilots with the UK's National Health Service where we've actually shown a sort of a significant improvement in mood, social connectedness, and average flow per user was 79%. And so the idea is to continue building on this in a stackable way, but we're entering as our market strategy is creative technology into our beachhead market within productivity and within the innovation space as we continue to validate our health benefits and enter the workplace well-being and health tech space. In the end, we're looking at how we can improve our chances and not having cognitive decline, right? This is our longevity play as a preventative. And so that beachhead market is 4 billion as SOM, and that includes the innovation space within corporate R&D, agencies, design thinking, as we continue to build up within our year 5 towards a total addressable market of 141 billion. Thank you.
How are you making money in terms of what were you charging people?
So because of our, I didn't get to finish. But essentially, we are starting that beachhead market entry as a software as a service, but actually I like calling it service as a software. And so the idea is that we've been charging it as licensing when there are bigger sort of enterprise customers within our sort of closed beta with our design partners. But we've also been looking at it as subscriptions for teams, for the smaller mid-sized SMEs, and also as workshop facilitators, especially within the education space, and those who are actually going ahead and utilizing our tool as a sort of a workshop facilitation tool.
And how much does that cost per user?
It depends on the size, but essentially, I kind of bundle it up when it comes to the enterprise, but roughly speaking, about $200 to $250 per person per month for the enterprise. And then it goes down to about $60 per person per month with the teams. And then again, bundling with like the student and workshop kind of spaces. That's basically the tutor and the students come together in terms of bundling. So we've been building out a self-serve by actually looking at the pricing model and learning from our design partners. So that would be once we actually raise.
So, well, congrats on the success that you had so far. So walk me through a little bit how a user, let's say they work at a startup, would use yours. Like how would they be integrated in the data?
Yeah, it's actually really useful for entrepreneurs. And so it helps you with your GTM. So you can basically log in and you can invite your sort of team members. And for example, it will take you all the way from fuzzy ideas to sort of refining and defining what your product idea is, who is your target audience, what are the stakeholders involved, bring me a brand strategy, let's create the design assets, let's look at our SWOT analyses, and then let's put it all together in a pitch deck, which we can share with each other. And if we happen to work with our clients, they can also see what our thinking is and we can share with them. So that's the beachhead market. Obviously, we're still working out how to bring this to market, potentially more through health.
Yeah. Well, personally, I'm so easy to get distracted, so I really look forward to getting the flow status. I'm just curious, this is really a crowded market with lots of other things. So when you try to sell this thing to your design partners, what kind of validations are you looking for?
Yeah.
How can you check if it's really working with the employees?
I think one of our unique selling points is that we're actually building neuroscience-driven AI, and it's super personalized. We're actually building foundational models that actually bring that together. So that kind of innate understanding that we're building of essentially a human state into our AI's interaction actually speaks for itself, basically. But some of the biggest ROIs that have come out is obviously speed. One of the things that people have said to us that normally takes us about a week to walk around a strategy, but with your tool, I have this in 45 minutes. Another big ROI has been, it's been really useful to come up with diverse ideas, especially ones where our bias minds find difficult to kind of work through, and the AI has helped us with that. And then the collaborative aspect of things, where essentially AI stops the kind of infighting.
Would you say these metrics are a little bit difficult to monitor for HR, business owner, whereas it is a lot easier for you to design for yourself as a B2C business model instead of B2B?
No, I mean, honestly, the B2B2C has been our kind of element, but although it's being bought as licenses, these kinds of metrics actually came from, for example, the creative directors or the strategy directors, and then also the people who were utilizing it. They would actually say things like, it's like a second brain. It's giving my mind a little reset. That being said, the self-serve that we've been setting up has been linked to our sort of dashboard and pricing model, so that yes, we could give it out to freelancers and more D2C kind of way. But we need to fundraise for that. And if you guys would like to try it, I've got it here. Thank you.
All right, let's do it. We're just going to do a quick swappy. We'll get one more presenter up here. Is that going?
Cool. Hey guys, my name is Damon. I'm a fourth year UCSB data science major, graduating in 2 weeks, hopefully. And I built Housing Helper to help renters get out of their lease. Back in my sophomore year, I ended up solo signing 3 houses for my friend group at the time. I just turned 18, didn't really realize how leases worked, much less group leases, so when the property manager calls me and threatens to send me the collections over $500,000, I freaked out. I went on every single platform available on the time. Craigslist, Facebook. I even set my Tinder profile to be photos of the house and nothing. I wasn't able to get out of my lease. Thus, I aim to create a safe market network for sublets. Every single year, 8.5 million students nationwide waste 3 months of rent when they go home for the summer. That's 3 months of rent that they're throwing into the trash and they'll never see again. We find them people to rent their place while they're gone. We're protected by a proprietary compatibility score that makes it so that you sublet to people that are similar to you, people that you can trust. We protect buyers by sending their or holding their initial payment in escrow until they successfully confirm move-in. This way, they don't have to worry about all the fake scams, spam, and bots that you see on other sublet platforms. We protect sellers by automatically processing payments on a monthly basis. That way they don't have to chase after their sublessors, asking them to pay over and over and over again. You know, me myself, back when I was subletting my place over the summer, I ended up with a squatter. We had to get the whole house together and physically move all of his stuff out to the curb in order to get rid of the guy. On the opposite end, when I was a freshman and I was looking for a place for next year, I was late on the ball and nothing was available, so I went on Facebook and I ended up getting scammed out of $3,000 for my first month's rent and my security deposit. We solved both of those issues with a safe platform for all. We're targeting the midterm rental market. Every single year, $168 billion is spent on midterm rentals worldwide. Every single one of those stays is overpriced. For every single one of those midterm visitors, there's a local in that city who's willing to rent their place for half the price. We aim to bring the two together.
Have you heard of Bill, and what do you think of him?
Yeah, I like Bill, VP of Tinder, right? Yeah, I think he's got great eye for design. I love their colors, and it's a great idea because it saves you money on rent.
Do you think there's some application to what you're doing or not?
Absolutely, absolutely. As you can see, you can pay through any method you'd like, whether it's Apple Pay, card, ACH, whatever you'd like. So if people choose to pay with Bill, then I'm sure that they can save a lot of money doing so, and I'm sure that there's potential for collaboration in the future. I would like to mention, I forgot to say, right now we're sitting at 7,000 active users in Santa Barbara alone. That's 7,000 active users in a local market of 24,000 students. So a third of the student body has this app. We've serviced 220 sublets thus far. It costs us $29 to acquire a customer, and we make $90 per customer per term.
Is that your go-to-market plan to target different universities?
First, we're going to go after universities. Second, we're going to go after digital nomads and military members, since military members have a very hard time finding affordable midterm housing in a lot of markets.
Could you explain to us the lifetime value of this group of users?
Yeah.
Customer requirement.
Absolutely. So right now, we only know the first term. Since we've only launched 8 months ago, it's average rental price of $900 for 2 months, 1 month plus deposit. In the future, I'd estimate 3 years lifetime value. Throughout your years of college, when you're living off campus, the 3 summers that you're away, for somebody that's just looking to get out of their lease, like a remote worker who visits their friend in New York City and wants to go abroad for a couple months, we can estimate another 3 trips in their lifetime. Of course, without without real numbers, it's just gauge.
What's the long-term plan to increase sort of the user LTV? Because obviously having 3-year long LTV is good, but you want to have sustained user retention, and how would you kind of increase that? Right?
Absolutely. So I think as we move deeper and deeper into this digital age, we move away from commitment and towards flux. Especially with the rise of remote work, you're seeing workers that don't want to be stuck into a 12-month lease. If they do sign a 12-month lease, let's say they go and visit their friend in another city, they'd like to explore that city for a couple months. They're fully free to do so with their remote work, with their remote job, but they're locked into that lease. So the way that we're going to increase the lifetime value is by pushing forth this vision of living in flux, of living in flow.
It feels like you're in some ways trying to build a secondary market for rental places.
Absolutely. We're trying to build a new market, a market of fluid rentals.
What are the property managers saying?
The property managers, as we've seen thus far, don't care as long as they get paid. We do have both sides. We do have buyers place a deposit in case of any damages. We have a full deposit dispute flow in place. So when the seller or when the buyer moves out, the seller can take photos and vouch for some of their deposit to be returned to them. And with the property managers, whenever you sign that agreement, you have to check off saying, I have written consent from my property manager. So if things really do go south, the blame isn't levied on us at the end of the day.
From a business model standpoint, why doesn't Airbnb do the job?
I think it's because it subtracts from their bread and butter. Their bread and butter is short-term rentals. Rentals for a few days to a couple weeks. Zillow, their bread and butter is long-term leases. By moving into this mid-term market, you're subtracting from the revenue that you generate in your bread and butter short-term, long-term markets.
For one of your pictures, why'd you have
So this is something I completely forgot to talk about is we're the first bi-directional rental marketplace. What that means is that not only can you see the places as the buyer, but as the seller, you can swipe through the people that are looking to sublease. So you can go through and choose who you want to sublet your place, and you're recommended the people that are similar to you, because similar people like similar places.
I feel like you're trying to do 50 things at once.
Yeah.
Tinder, secondary, subleasing. Like, if you had to sequence it out, how are you going to sequence it out properly?
So the way that I thought about it with that bi-directional marketplace is that when you allow both sides to make the first move, you drive engagement and you drive conversions. Because you don't rely on one side reaching out to the other. When you have both sides actively reaching out to one another, you have 2 times engagement and 2 times conversions.
And that concludes all our pitches. Thank you to everybody who pitched. We're gonna have our judges deliberate. Stick around, we still got plenty of drinks. We still got Tesla up here, we got Plymouth. And we'll just put some music on. And then we'll announce the winner shortly.
Drum roll, please. All right, third place is Neurologic.
In second place, we have Echo Team.
Come on down, let's get you up here.
All right, can I get a drum roll for first place? A little bit of drum roll. There we go. All right, for first place, a trove.
Let's get Tim up here. Where is he?
All right, have a great evening. Go network. Stick around if you want to chat about pre-seed rounds. Thank you all.
All right, let's put a big round together. Everyone, take a photo. All right, let's take a photo.
Okay, I'll go.
All right, let's give it up for the judges. Awesome. Have a great night, everybody. Feel free to stick around. Thank you for coming.